safety. Please keep your hands and legs inside the podcast at all times, and stay seated until the ride comes to a complete stop. Please refrain from being triggered, sensitive, and a Karen. So please sit back and enjoy the ride. Here's your host, Jon Arez.
Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to the 51st episode of the Views from the Jon podcast and our birthday. Happy birthday, dear Reality Drip.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I'm Jon Arez. This is J-Paul, a.k.a. J-Pal.
Sure.
J-Pal, a.k.a. Josh.
Hello, everybody. How's it going?
And I'm Jon Arez, your host, and this is the Views from the Jon podcast, the 51st episode in the 1-year anniversary. That's why we're wearing these silly fucking hats, and we got some streaming blowers around somewhere that don't blow. Yeah, we're making asses of ourselves already. All right. Ready for a little happy birthday on the guitar?
Sure.
All right, let's see.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Reality Drip. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, Reality Drip, 1 year old. Yeah! All right. Now that we're done with that fucking nonsense, let's see if I can put my guitar away. All right. Welcome. It's exciting, isn't it?
It's awesome, John.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Yay! All right, let me pull up the, welcome to the 1-year anniversary show, episode 51. I've already introduced my co-host, J-Pal.
J-Pal.
J-Pal. J-Pal is what he likes to go by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're working on it. It's a work in progress.
We got a great show lined up for you today, man. Great show. Just like Steve Harvey says, we got a great one lined up for you today. I would run down the list of what we're going to talk about, but it might ruin the surprise. But stay with me. Trust me. Don't turn it off after 2 minutes, right? Everyone does that. But anyways, we got a great fucking show lined up for you today, and we are going to dive right in. But before I do, don't think I haven't noticed, because this is my business. This is my livelihood. Our viewership numbers on YouTube, our subscribers, and our streamers are going like this.
Yes.
I mean, I'm talking this is episode 51, so episode 48, 49, and 50 have been our top streaming episodes. I'm talking to the tunes of thousands upon thousands of unique streams across all the platforms.
Awesome, that's great.
So, thank you. I don't know who you are. I don't know why you like me, but I appreciate it. And I love you. I cannot tell you how appreciative I am of anybody and everybody out there that's been watching this. And please continue to support if you could. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you could be so kind as to hit the like button, that would help out tremendously. The more likes we get, the more chances that, other people are going to come across this that haven't seen it. And if you could subscribe, that's awesome. And even better, if you could share the video with somebody that you might think could like it, that would be fantastic too. All right.
Thanks, everyone.
We ended off last week's podcast talking about a funny trip that Josh and I took last November to Boston to meet and see Bill Burr. And that was a crazy fucking night. That is the topic that we left off with last week. And I got a ton of people writing in saying, I want to hear more about that. So here we go. Just a quick reminder that Josh and I, J-Pal and I, we don't have a pre-production meeting. Everything is just off the, what do they call it? On the fly.
Off the cuff.
Off the cuff. We didn't rehearse nothing here.
No.
We're just going to our memory banks. So, I'm trying to think. There were so many fucked up things that happened that night. I don't know which to start with. How would you start off, Josh? Do we get to the part where, I don't know, was there anything exciting that happened up to the point where we got stuck in the tunnel and I had to do something?
No, just the whole trip down the Mass Pike was interesting.
Interesting.
We stopped a couple places because you had to go to the bathroom, the little boy's room.
Yes. I've explained to you people before, I have a weak bladder.
Very weak.
And as I get older, I think everyone's bladder starts to get a little bit weaker. Not only that, last year about this time, I was drinking like 20 cups of coffee a day.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when you drink beer or coffee? You got to pee a lot.
Yeah.
Now, that's on top of me already having to pee a lot. So, yes, I had to stop a couple times on the way out to Boston, even though we live in the Boston area. Not too far to drive.
Tiny bladder.
Tiny bladder. Now, after I had relieved myself on the Mass Pike, we then proceeded to get stuck right in the middle of downtown Boston.
We stopped at every.
Pretty much every rest stop on the Mass Pike. And then once we got into the center of Boston, downtown Boston.
Yeah, the Prud Tunnel.
The what tunnel?
The Prudential Tunnel.
We were in the Prudential Tunnel in Boston, and it was literally bumper-to-bumper traffic, stop and go. Like, stop 2 miles an hour, stop 2 miles an hour.
This is pre-COVID, so there's tons.
Pre-COVID, tons and tons and tons of people.
Hours.
Literally like 5 lanes of traffic, bumper-to-bumper. People can see me, I can see them, and I have to pee worse than you could ever possibly imagine. There was no holding it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you were complaining a lot.
Yeah, and I was.
You're grumpy.
I wasn't grumpy. I was just on my way to meet my fucking comedy hero, which is Bill Burr. Everybody knows that. Yeah. I was on the way to see him for the first time, meet him for the first time, and I was a little fucking,
little time sensitive.
I wanted to get there early, and just everything fucking fell apart on the way there. But we'll get into that. Anyways, the first crazy thing that happened, besides all the stopping I did and how uptight I was about getting into Boston on time and all that other shit. So anyways, we're sitting in the tunnel, and it's I have to pee super fucking bad. And there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to stop. There's nowhere to pull over. Yeah. I have nowhere to go. I literally could not hold it. I was going to piss myself. So what do you do? What do you do when you're in a tunnel, in a car, with traffic all around you? There's nowhere to stop. There's no bathroom. There's nowhere. Where the fuck am I going to go? I had to go in the driver's seat. Now, as it so happened, I didn't have anything in the car to piss in except for a little paper cup.
Yeah, I stopped and got a coffee.
We stopped. One of the times that we stopped to piss,
yes,
Josh got a coffee.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like one of these big, it was like a little styrofoam cup. It didn't even have a top on it. And all the while I'm driving. We're in bumper-to-bumper stop-and-go traffic in the middle of Boston. There's trucks on either side of me. And I have to drive and piss at the same time. While this guy's no help. He's fucking in the corner about as far away from me as he can, laughing hysterically as I literally have this paper cup and I have a manual transmission.
Yep.
So
stick shift for all them younger viewers out there.
Right. It's a stick shift. I have to operate 3 pedals. I have to steer in bumper-to-bumper traffic and somehow piss without pissing on myself. So I get a little fucking paper cup from this dude that had its coffee in it. And I had to take the ding-a-ling out through the fucking pee hole, undo my seatbelt. I had to get way up on the seat so I could actually aim down. And this guy's in the fucking passenger seat just losing his mind. Like, oh, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I don't want the overspray.
I mean, and I'm sorry, dude. I'm like, get out and stand on the side of the highway then. Yeah. I gotta piss. I can't get out and just I don't know. Maybe I could. I think if I was drunk.
Yeah, definitely.
Which I was on the drive home. All right, anyways, but yeah. So, yes, I had to piss into a paper fucking cup with no lid that was about 12 inches tall while I'm in traffic trying to drive a standard.
Yeah, in the middle of a tunnel.
And I'm literally steering with my fucking legs. I keep going in and out of the lane. And this dude is sitting next to me, literally doing nothing to help.
Yeah.
He's not shifting. He's not offering to steer.
Nothing.
He's just as far away as me as he can while he fucking laughs like a hyena.
Dude, it smells so horrible.
My pee did?
I don't know what you drank. It smelled like you stuck your head in like a keg of like paint thinner. That was horrible.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what you drank.
You didn't mention this to me that
Oh,
night.
I was gagging. Ugh.
Man, maybe I had some,
And then you stuck it in the cup holder. That was
maybe I had some asparagus. I don't know. But yeah.
that was just so nasty.
And yeah, what are you going to do? What am I going to do? Didn't I dump it out the window, or did I put a full cup of piss in the cup
No,
holder?
you brought it with us.
Jesus.
All the way to the place, man.
All right, so if you guys can imagine that, just trying to piss into a cup while you got a fucking male friend of yours sitting in the passenger seat, that is extremely homophobic, you know?
I'm not homophobic.
I'm just saying, dude. You were having a tough time. All right, so anyways, so that's that. So that was that was while we were stuck in a tunnel. Then we finally made it over the
Tobin Bridge
into Saugus.
Route 1.
And we pulled into Giggles. Giggles is a comedy club that
Shout out
is
to Giggles.
extremely tough to get into. Not even comics I know that have 10 years or 15 years of experience can get into that club as a performer. Let me back up here, because people might wonder, how the fuck did I see Bill Burr? Let me back up here. Of course, I'm a big Bill Burr fan. Don't hit your mic, man.
Sorry.
You fucking amateur. I'm a big Bill Burr fan, and I listen to his podcast. It's on twice a week, and Bill said, hey, I'm going to be out in Massachusetts, back home where he's from, next week, because he was in town to do the Cam Neely benefit.
Yes.
Hilarity for Charity, or Comics Come Home.
Yep.
Happens at the Boston Garden every year. So Bill was in town that week. And no matter where Bill is, Bill's trying to get up every night, like I try to do. So he basically jumped on to a show at Giggles. And I'm trying to remember who the headliners were. Lenny Clark,
yeah.
Lenny Clark, who's a Boston fucking staple. Goddamn. Lenny Clark.
Who's the guy with the beard?
Elizabeth Hurley. Elizabeth Hurley's a supermodel. God, I'm so bad, man. I'm a Boston comic, too, and I can't remember her name. Hurley, something Hurley. And then Stephen Wright made a guest spot. He was not on the bill, and as did Bill Burr. So Bill Burr and Stephen Wright walked right in, and me and this guy are 5 feet from these guys, right? Bill walks into the green room or whatever. But let me back up. Let me back up. I'm getting way fucking ahead. Bill, on his podcast on that Monday, said that he was going to be doing a surprise spot somewhere in the Boston area that Monday night. And because I'm a Boston area comic, I got connections. So I immediately called up my connections, found out where he was going to be, used another one of my connections to get me in the door, because the show was already sold out.
Yeah.
I felt like in that movie Goodfellas, where he's dating his new girl and he walks into the place and they put out a table for him and everything. Yeah, that's what they pretty much did for us. So anyways, I got into this place for free with him, sold out to see Bill Burr in a super small club, because Bill Burr does like Madison fucking Square Garden.
Yeah,
right?
it's like 100 people max.
Right, so here we are, nobody in the club except for the owner, the manager, me, Josh, and a couple other people even know that Bill Burr is going to be there tonight. Nobody knew except for us, so I'm all fucking giddy. And so anyways, that's how I got in. I used my connections, and I also listened to Bill Burr's podcast and made a bunch of phone calls, and that's how I got to see him at a show that he wasn't even, advertised on.
Right.
So that's how I did that. So on our drive out to Boston, it was chaotic. I was in one of those uptight moods because it meant so much to me that we get there on time, and the traffic's pissing me off, and I'm all fucking uptight, and this guy is exact opposite. He's getting uptight because I'm uptight. It was just a fucking mess, dude.
I feed off people.
And so then the piss shit happened, and then after we got into Saugus, I believe my navigation system or something told me to turn, or you told me to turn.
I think your navigation wanted you to go somewhere else, but I know the area pretty well, and I wanted you to go the next further up.
Right.
And you followed the Navi, and it was the wrong way.
Yeah, I don't know. navigation systems suck. I think it was supposed to be on the left-hand side of the road, which it was, but it wasn't one of those roads that you could just turn. You had to go further up and do a U-ey.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm all fucking, I'm all fucking, what's it called? All revved up and shit. And,
jacked up.
And we're late, and I've had all this crazy shit happen to me, and the navigation system's telling me to go up, and fucking he's telling me to go down. And and then I think I snapped at you.
Oh, yeah, you snapped.
And just back up the mic a little bit. Sorry. I'm an amateur. I don't have a producer. We're recording this into one track, so if I'm too loud, if he's too loud, then you suffer the consequences. So I'm just trying to get him to back up the mic. See, because when I'm back here, it's fucking all quiet. Then when I get closer, it gets louder. So anyways, I kind of snapped at this guy, and I shouldn't have, because he is literally the most easygoing, happy-go-lucky dude in the world, zero stress. I'm the one that's stressed out because I'm meeting my idol tonight, right? So I snap at him, and then he snaps back at me, and this dude never snaps back at me, so I felt wicked fucking awkward. Then we got into the parking lot, and of course, he can just get out of the car. And I think I got out of the car and had to do a bunch of fucking makeup or whatever the fuck I did. I don't know what the fuck we were doing. Then we get into the club.
But you had to empty your cup, though.
Yeah, I think I had to empty my cup. But I still had a coffee.
You did.
I had a coffee. And the second we get into the club, I proceed to spill the coffee all over my brand new white fucking Adidas sneakers.
Oh, yeah.
So now I have one white shoe.
And that was the tip of the iceberg.
I got one white fucking Chuck on, and the other one is coffee stained. So I'm just a disheveled fucking mess. Now I'm in the bathroom scrubbing my fucking shoes off, and it's just, I'm so fucking frustrated, dude. So then I finally come out of the bathroom, and we walk into the club, and...
we were like the only people there. We were like the first people.
We were like the first people there. And I got introduced to Sharon. Sharon runs the club. She's not the owner, but she is the club manager. She books the talent. Mm-hmm. Sharon is the one that got Josh and I a table. She's very high up in the Boston community, comedy community, very well respected. It was because of her.
Awesome lady.
It was because of her we got a table for free right up front to see Burr. Now, here's where it gets even better. So we sit down at a table. A waiter comes over, and he's like, you guys want something to drink and eat? And we're like, yeah. So I think you and I we each ordered a pizza.
Personal size? Yeah.
A personal size pizza. And I don't know if I had started drinking by then yet. But anyways, the pizzas eventually come out.
Awesome pizzas, really good.
The pizzas come out, and this guy didn't feel as though he had enough napkins. So rather than getting up or waiting for our server to come over, this dude yells across the fucking nightclub, "Hey, Sharon! Can you pick me up some fucking napkins?"
I didn't say that.
Okay, he didn't swear, but this guy is literally yelling across the club to the fucking club manager to grab his ass some fucking napkins, and I'm like, oh my god, dude. Do you know the strings I had to pull to get this fucking table at this club?
Oh, she was happy. She was smiling.
It's like, dude, have some class. I can't bring you anywhere. But yeah, him fucking yelling across the club at the club manager for napkins. I'm like, oh my god, dude. So it was just one thing after another. So let's fast forward. So we eat, and I gotta calm my nerves, right? So I start drinking. I'm not a big drinker, but when I do drink, I like to drink bourbon on the rocks. So I started drinking bourbon on the rocks. And the more bourbons that went down, the looser I started to feel. And as the night went on and the comics started to go up, at one point, when Stephen Wright did his set, Bill Burr came out of the green room, which was literally from me to about Josh, 6 feet, and he sat right there. And you got to remember, a year ago, I had never met Burr. Burr to me was like a fucking crazy lady meeting Brad Pitt. Like, fucking, like, the biggest celebrity I could fucking meet. And I finally see him. I'm in the same room as Burr. He's sitting right fucking there watching Stephen Wright set. And I'm not even paying attention to Stephen Wright. I'm just staring at Burr to see what Burr's doing. And he's just sitting there chilling, looking at the audience to see how the audience is and shit. So that was exciting. And then Burr went up, crushed it. He got off stage, and then I went outside to not smoke a cigarette, but to have a vape, right? Because I vape. I quit smoking 2 years ago. You know that shit?
Good job.
It's been 2 years since I had a cigarette, and they want to deify the vaping, even though my doctor and Dr. Drew says there ain't nothing wrong with it, despite all the fucking anti-vaping propaganda that's out there.
That's back when they were banning vapes because everybody was dying and stuff like that last year, around the same time.
Yeah. Which is something that, we were going to talk about later because it's the 1 year anniversary of that. That's something I talked about a year ago on my podcast. Anyways, so I go outside for a smoke, okay? And who do I see outside but a gentleman by the name of Wayne Previty. Wayne Previty grew up with Bill in the Boston comedy scene. And he was living out there with Bill, not in the same house, but they were both from L.A. So Bill brought Wayne with him to MC the show. And I ended up talking to Wayne in that parking lot for a half an hour. He was the coolest fucking guy I had ever met. One of Bill Burr's best friends. We exchanged phone numbers. We exchanged Facebook information. And when I got home that night, I hit him up on a DM through Facebook. And we talked ever since then. And the guy had really been helping me with my comedy career. He really broke down, what I was doing right, what I was doing wrong, and gave me some of the best advice I've ever got. And I met this dude through Bill. Pardon me, my nose is running. But anyways, Wayne passed away a couple months ago, and Bill couldn't make it back out here because of the pandemic and stuff. But that was a bummer. What else happened that night? Okay, so when the show finally ends, I've had a few cocktails. Haven't I?
Yeah, I wasn't really counting, but it was definitely more than one.
I had a few cocktails, and I was feeling no pain. Now, the gentleman over here, Josh, he happens to he didn't drink.
No, I'm not a big drinker.
So it would just make logical sense to me that if I'm intoxicated, he should drive home. But as it turns out, what did you notice that I didn't, which was your ultimate factor in why you didn't want to drive home?
You had a naughty, bad inspection sticker on there.
Yes.
It was like 6 months old.
I had a 6-month overdue inspection sticker on my car. So had we been pulled over, arrested,
click, click,
he would have lost his fucking CDL license.
Yeah.
So I had to drive home. I was definitely over the limit, but I wasn't shit-faced. I think I drove pretty well.
You did great.
But yeah, so much shit happened that night, and it just goes to show that when you're uptight and you're nervous and you're all this shit, pretty much everything that happened that night was a result of just me just being, rather than just being like, fuck, whatever, which is kind of how I am now, But anyways,
gotta be chill, folks.
Yeah. So we drove home. I was intoxicated. We didn't talk much. I think Josh was a little, I don't know.
Yeah, you kind of set the mood for the night for me. I was in kind of a little funk, but we put on some good tunes and.
Yeah, we put on some Deftones, I believe.
Absolutely.
That I hadn't heard before. So yeah, it was a nice drive home, but it was a fucking crazy night, dude. I don't know if any of that translated, but if you could have been there, it was just from him yelling at Sharon across the club for napkins to me having to piss in a cup in traffic while I'm driving and then having to put it in the cup holder.
We sat next to a nice couple too. I forgot their names. But.
Yes. Oh my God, that reminds me. We sat next to a great couple that was from the Boston area as well, and I actually hooked them up. I hooked their kids up. Yes. With all access media passes to the big show at the Boston Garden the next night.
Yeah, the Cam Neely show.
The Cam Neely show, the Cam Neely benefit.
Yeah.
Because I have a production company, I can get media passes to go to pretty much any media event, and it was no problem me getting media passes to that event. But I wasn't going to go. I should have probably stayed in Boston and went the next day, but I didn't, so I gave my passes to that family, and I think they went and had a blast. I can't remember. But, you know, I tried to, I don't know, I think they paid for half our drinks. They were super...
Yeah, they were super nice.
They were super nice, and it's like, I got free media passes to go see, you know, huge comics at Boston Garden. I can't use them, so why not give them to people that could? And they went, and they had a blast. So, you know, that's just it, man. You know, if you got some extra money, some extra tickets, throw them to somebody. Make their day, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So that was our trip into Boston to see Bill fucking Burr. All right, Josh.
What's up?
Here's our next topic, and this is fucking great.
We're going, huh?
This is great. Remote learning.
Okay.
Evidently, you know, because of COVID,
Yep.
especially in Massachusetts and Connecticut and I think California, all the kids are back to
A
school,
lot of states.
but they're doing it all from home. So every single kid that's in your science class, math class, whatever, they're all doing it at home through a Zoom meeting. And that kind of opens up a can of worms. So here's what's been happening. Kids have been acting up
Yeah.
in class on camera because now they're sitting in front of their laptop. There's no classroom anymore.
At home.
Right. So
Comfortable at
every
home.
kid is at home on their fucking computer, and I guess kids are taking their dinglings out on camera. They're giving the you know, the teacher the middle finger.
Yeah.
It's like fucking chaos, dude.
Right.
And it's like, how hilarious is that? Like, if you were in a classroom in a school, the teacher can send you to the principal's office.
Yeah.
They can tell little Johnny to shut up. But when you're doing this all remotely, these kids are just out of fucking control. And what are you supposed to do? Like, okay, let's say you're a teacher.
Go
and
to
you-
the principal's office.
There is no principal's office. So let's say you're a teacher and you're teaching 30 kids through a Zoom meeting, like looking at a camera like we are right now.
Yeah.
And you got kids acted up in the classroom or on camera. What do you do?
Oh.
You send them home?
Is there like a mute button?
But I think there probably is. But I mean, that doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
There's no principal's office for them to go to.
Yeah. No punishment.
There's no punishment. There's no detention. What are you going to do? Say, we're going to kick you off the stream now. Oh, great. I can go play my PS fucking 10. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. I feel bad for kids that don't have or have the experience of being in school. Because being in school with your friends and hanging out after school and shit, it's fun.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you kids out there are living a pretty unique experience. Living through a pandemic that we haven't experienced in 100-something years. So remember these moments and have fun, because I was the class clown. I used to wear one of these in school, sitting in the corner, and I would be goofing off like a motherfucker on camera.
I'd be spitting spitballs at you.
Yeah, spitballs at the fucking screen. It's fucking perfect. But yeah, man, it's hard. Kids acting up in class, they can't be dealt with. Which is a good segue into just how bad I was when I was in school. I've talked about this before on the show, but, you know, my parents were really, really disappointed in me. I mean, really, because I was a terrible, terrible kid. Behaved. I did decently in school. I was like a B average or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I was just a nightmare to teachers. And my parents couldn't understand it because my parents were very like religious and strict, and they raised 3 good boys, and they couldn't understand why this boy couldn't just keep his mouth shut in class. So they were sending me to like psychiatrists and psychologists, trying to figure out why I'm acting up. And I kept explaining to them, and I still do to my father to this day. I was like, there was nothing wrong with me. Do you know what it was?
What's that?
It's fucking attention. I like making people laugh. And as long as I got the laugh, whether I was bullying or making fun of myself or the teacher or whatever, I was getting laughs. And that's why I was doing it. It was for the attention. It was for the laughter.
Yeah.
And as I got older and got into my senior year, I didn't feel like I needed to do that shit anymore. I had a girlfriend. I was popular. I didn't need to make people laugh. I didn't need that attention. So I really stopped that shit. Mm-hmm. So my freshman year, my science teacher calls my parents and says I'm the worst behaved kid he's ever had in 28 years.
Oof.
Which just destroyed my fucking mother. Just destroyed her. The fuck was that?
You got ghosts? What is that?
What is that?
I don't know. Sounds like somebody's having fun, though.
It sounds like somebody's having sex. What is that? I'm either hearing my downstairs neighbor's fuck or there's a kid outside and I forgot to close the window. Bear with me for a second because we can hear that crystal clear through our microphones. Holy shit. All right. Remind me where the fuck I was before we started hearing people fuck.
You got a call to your mom.
Yeah.
Worst student in 28 years.
Yes. So, freshman year of high school, my science teacher, Mr. Hurl Butt.
Sweet.
Real last name, Hurl Butt.
Awesome.
He called my parents and said I was the worst behaved kid he'd had in 28 years, which broke my parents' heart. Senior year, I had him for science again. He calls my parents.
Hurl Butt.
And he says to my parents this time, I'm the most well-behaved, most improved student he's now seen in 32 years of teaching.
Wow.
So that just goes to show. If kids are acting out, it might not be because they're mentally retarded. It might not be because of anything other than just seeking attention and wanting to make people laugh. I was a goofball, still am, but I don't need to seek it as hardcore as I did, right? But that was just it. But one of the things I would do to teachers, and I did a lot, is I had a classic line. They would explain something, and no matter how easy it was to understand or no matter how difficult it was to understand. I mean, the teacher could say, John, 1 + 1 is 2. And then they'll look at the whole class, and the whole class nods, everything. I raise my hand. Teacher calls on me. My go-to line, I don't get it. Even though I did, I would always say I don't get it. Even if it was something stupid, they're like, okay, can anybody tell us where Cape Town is? And somebody would be like, yes, Cape Town's in South Africa. And then I would raise my hand and they'd be like, yes, John. I'd be like, I don't get it. And they're like, well, what exactly don't you get? I don't know, I just don't get it. But that was my go-to line, man. It really was. Here's another one that ties into it. The very first day of high school, me and my buddy Brian, we were literally terrorists together. He was just like me. He loved to make people laugh. He would go out of his way to do it. It didn't matter whose expense it came at. So when you put us together, we were fucking awful. We were on the same bus together. And this is the first day of high school, the very first day. We got kicked off the bus.
Wow.
And not only, okay.
It's like a badge of honor.
Yeah. We got kicked off the bus because there was a classmate of ours that for some reason was wearing a wig. And this is back in the mid-90s when wigs didn't look like real hair. It looked like a wig.
Was it a boy?
It was a girl.
Okay.
And it wasn't like black hair either or blonde hair. Mm-hmm. It was like a salt and pepper hair, like she was 50. Mm-hmm. And we didn't know. We were kids, dude.
Yeah.
We didn't know. Our mind didn't go to, oh my God, she could have cancer, or oh my God, she could have a disease.
Right.
All we saw was this terrible looking wig on this girl. But we didn't make fun of her directly at all. But we did talk about her in the back of the bus. But I think she was so sensitive about it, she really thought that we were, but we didn't say anything to her.
Yeah.
But anyways, that was enough to get us kicked off the bus. And inside of, not the vice principal's office that handled punishment, but the actual fucking principal.
The big dog.
That night, around 7 o'clock at night, our house phone rings. Back this time, there was no cell phones. There was no caller ID. When you went to call somebody, you had to look up somebody's name and number in a phone book.
Yeah.
So the phone rings about 7 o'clock at night. My father answers it, and there's a gentleman on the other line. It turns out to be this lady's father.
Oof.
And here's the fucking punchline, dude. Guess what he calls my father?
What's that?
He calls my father exactly what's written in the phone book, not understanding that sometimes names are too long, so they have to abbreviate them.
Yeah.
So my father's full first name is James,
Yeah.
okay? But they couldn't fit James Arez in the phone book, so they had to put J-A-S. Most people understand that J-A-S is short for James.
Yeah.
Not this guy.
Jazz.
So yes. So when he fucking calls my father up, he's like, yeah, this is Mr. So-and-so. Is Joss there? And my dad's like, who? Yeah, I'm looking for Joss Arez. Jas Arez. He's like, I'm Mr. Arez. Who is this? He's like, oh, I'm Mr. Willard or whatever. Is this Joss? Jas? He's like, my name is Jim, sir. It's James. He's like, oh, whatever. But I think about that to this day. And even my buddies will still, 30 years after it happened, will just, text me out of the blue and just be like, is Joss there? But yeah, I was a bad kid, man.
Evil.
What I was going to do next is do a little bit of a year in review. This is the 51st podcast. So yeah, I've done 50 of these things going back a year. So I kind of went back to the very first podcast and went up to maybe episode 30 or 40.
Yep.
And I just kind of picked out a little bit of tidbits that I wanted to revisit. Okay?
Gotcha.
The first thing is actually a bit for the stage that I've never done on camera. And it's a real story. I told people when I started this podcast that I would never do stand-up on the podcast because that's giving away my material. I'd like people to come see me in person. That's why when you watch Joe Rogan, Bert Kreischer, Bill Burr, Chris Stefano, doesn't make a difference, Theo Vaughn, they don't do stand-up on their podcast. They just talk about shit we're talking about now. Yeah. But I'm going to do a bit because this is a real bit. And from what I've learned from more experienced comedians, the two mistakes I was making was I was trying to be funny, I was thinking way too hard, and I was trying to write jokes. You can't do that. You just got to go up there, relax, and talk, and riff, like I'm doing right now, And that's something I still got to work out. Anyways, so my mother passed away recently.
Yeah.
She passed away December 5th. And since she passed away, my father and I have kind of become closer. Mm-hmm. And we're a lot more open with each other. And I remember in a few weeks after that my mother had passed, I was sitting in my parents' house having a conversation with my father. And for some reason, the conversation turned to the fact that I take pterodactyl-sized shits. I'm not joking you, dude. I have one of the healthiest large intestines or colon on the planet.
Awesome.
And when I'm talking, it's pterodactyl size. I mean, like horse shit or an elephant.
Elephant.
I mean, my shit, when it comes out, dude, has got to be that thick and about 4 feet fucking long.
Wow.
It's either that or it's like, have you ever gone to the beach and taken that wet sand and you keep pouring it on each other so it just keeps stacking up and stacking up?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I'm done, it's like there's a fucking island sticking out of the toilet now, like a fucking volcano.
Nice.
I mean, I shit my brains out. Now, here's a huge problem.
What's that?
It doesn't flush.
Oh.
My shit does not fucking flush,
You need a
dude.
better toilet.
I would say, I literally take a healthy dump once a day. So that's 7 days in a week. I would say 5 out of the 7 days a week, the toilet does not flush. I have to then plunge it. And if you go in my bathroom right now, dude, okay, you're going to literally see 3 different plungers depending on the severity of the fucking clog. 3 different plungers depending on how bad the job is. So I'm explaining all this to my father, and he's like, wait a minute. I haven't taught you my technique. And I said, technique? He's like, yeah, you got the same bloodline as I do. I take fucking monster-sized shits too, but I don't clog my toilet. And I said, oh, geez, Dad, tell me about your ingenious idea, how you don't actually clog the toilet.
It's a family secret.
And he reveals the family secret to me. And I've yet to try this because it's fucking disgusting and it's weird, but that's why I love my father. So he says, John, the way that I keep from clogging the toilet is like you have to imagine your shit as being like let's call it a 3-foot long kielbasa, right?
Yeah.
If you stick a 3-foot long kielbasa in a toilet, do you think it's going to flush? No.
No.
So what he does is he's like, you've got to picture your asshole.
I'm never eating a kielbasa.
He's like, you got to picture your asshole like it's a sausage maker. So he's like, as he feels one long 3-foot shit coming out, he'll tighten up his ass cheeks and he'll pinch it off into pieces. So now he's got, instead of having one 3-foot long sausage, he's got 6 6-inch long sausages because he's pinching it off in fucking pieces, dude, as it's coming out. He's like, John, you got to get your asshole muscles stronger and pinch it up into pieces. And when you do that, you end up having 6 6-inch long sausages, and those can flush easier. So that's my father's technique. He fucking pinches it off in pieces. And then he tells me, if you can't do that, I got another one for you. And I said, whoa, okay, what's next? So he says, in case you can't get your anus muscles strong enough to pinch it up in pieces, you gotta go and get a spatula out of the kitchen.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I love spatulas.
So do I.
All right.
Obviously you don't, okay. He's like, you take a spatula that you're never gonna use again to flip a fucking grilled cheese, and you take it in the bathroom. And you basically take that plunger into the bowl and you fucking stab it, right? So you're basically like stirring up a witch's brew. You're taking, yeah, you're taking all that hard shit and you're just mixing it up now so it turns into like a milkshake. And then he rinses it off and he sticks it underneath the fucking sink and now the shit can flush. Do you think I've taken his advice?
I wouldn't.
No. I continue to clog the toilet, and I just deal with the plunger. You know, there's a basic plunger, then I got the sport model, and then there's the oh fuck model, you know. But see, we all struggle. We all struggle.
You should go see a doctor for that.
The doctor loves it.
Oh, he loves it?
Every time I fucking see my doctor, I'm like, doctor, I'm taking the best shits ever. They're huge and thick and long. He's like, dude, that's fantastic.
You rock.
Seriously. Like if you're shitting 5 times a day and it's like all watery,
yeah.
Or like if you're shitting out like rocks or pebbles that sink to the toilet, or if your shit floats, it means your diet's fucked up. So evidently,
I'm screwed.
I'm doing something right because I don't shit out rocks. I don't shit pebbles. My shit doesn't float. It comes out like it's a fucking kielbasa.
Like a happy birthday.
And evidently, that's the best type of shit that you can take. So, yeah, I'm happy. I'm really happy with that.
I'm never eating kielbasa again.
But, yeah, I ruin the John. I ruin the John nearly every day. What else? One of the people I've picked on most over the last year, has been Burger King.
I haven't eaten Burger King in forever.
Nor have I. I have not had fast food, and I want to say at least 7 or 8 years.
I'm going on like 20 for Burger King.
I thought you said you go to fucking Hardee's all the time.
Hardee's is different. I'm I'm talking
No. Hardee's is fast food. I'm talking all fast food.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm talking just Burger King.
Yeah, I don't. Seriously, if I were to have, I would love a Whopper right now. Whopper. Remember when they were 99 cents in the 90s, dude?
Yeah.
We used to be able to toss back 2 of those fuckers with a large fry and like a strawberry milkshake.
Used to roll them in a ball and just pop them like a little candy.
Dude, I got one even better for you. Do you remember John Cimino? John Cimino was the singer of Grimlock, my hardcore band. I have one of our records back here, right here. As a matter of fact, if you go to my Instagram page, you will see I just uploaded a picture.
Really?
That was taken in, I believe, the Showcase Theater in Anaheim, California in 2003 on our tour.
Nice.
Awesome picture. I'll pull it up for you after the podcast. But it's on my Instagram account if you want to go check that out. I also posted a picture yesterday that I found in my shoebox, I told you, of a girlfriend that I had when I was 15.
Really? That's cool.
Did I not send that to you?
No, you didn't. No.
Okay, I guess I sent it to everybody else but him. But anyways, if you want to check that out, I'm Jon, Jon Arez, Arez, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever. Get me back on my fucking point. Social media, blah, blah, blah. Burger King. Yes,
Burger King.
I don't eat Burger King or any of that shit. But anyways, I do watch a lot of TV. I know that you don't watch a lot of TV, but, you know, I'm sure you've probably heard some of these Burger King commercials on the radio. Burger King comes up with the stupidest commercials out of any fast food place imaginable. And, I mean, going through the last year of my podcast, I have shit on them so many times. And here's a couple reasons why, okay? The first thing is, in the most recent, and it's not just Burger King, it's anybody out there advertising contactless delivery, okay? So Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's, Jack in the Box, whatever, they say we have contactless delivery. Mm-hmm. Now, what they mean by that is they don't come to your house. So, okay, before COVID, if you went to a drive-thru and ordered a couple burgers and a fucking fry, they hand you the bag through the drive-thru window, and then you take the bag from them. Mm-hmm. That was before COVID. Their contactless delivery is they touch the bag, place it onto a tray, then they stick the tray out the window, and then you pick the bag up off the tray. You're still touching the same fucking bag that they did. It's no different than them handing you the bag before COVID. But that's what they call contactless delivery. And people are like, oh shit, I'm not going to get COVID now because they have contactless delivery. And it's like, oh my God, it's no different. The only difference is rather than you taking the bag from them, you're picking it up off the fucking tray. But they've already touched the bag. And if they had COVID and they touched the bag, even if you pick it up off the tray, now you wipe your face or your fucking eyes or whatever, you got it. So this whole contactless delivery, it's not contactless. Like here's a flashlight, right? I'm touching it, right?
Yeah.
Now the old way would be to just hand you the flashlight and Josh would take it. So what if I touch this flashlight, Josh, and I put it down on the table and then you go pick it up? Is that any less safe or more safe?
No.
No. But this is what everybody's advertising as contact delivery. And people go, oh, great. Contactless delivery. Duh. I guess I could take my mask off. All right, it's just ridiculous, dude, okay? Here's the next fucking thing. That was the latest commercial. The first commercial I started making fun of was when they came out with the plant Whopper.
Oh, yeah. That was horrible.
Now...
They still sell that?
I don't know, dude, but their fucking commercials would take, like, regular people, not actors, just somebody regular off the street that really wanted a meat Whopper, and they would secretly swap it out for the fucking plant Whopper. And then, of course, the guy bites into it and goes, I can't tell the fuck. It's like horse shit. Don't tell me that you can't taste the difference between a cardboard fucking, and meat. But they got all these people that think they bought a Whopper, but they tricked them, and they're like, yeah, I don't care, it's great. And it's like, bullshit, dude, right? There's no fucking way. And then they up their game one level. They said, okay, if we can't get people to believe us that our plant whopper's that great, we're going to go to the experts about beef. So then they go down to Texas and they get the whitest cowboys you can find, where all they eat is fucking beef, right? So now you got all these cowboys.
Yeehaw.
All dressed up in their fucking belts and their fucking 1050 trucks, fucking, you know.
Stetson hat.
I'm telling you, dude, right? The most cowboyed out fucking white guys you've ever seen that are just all into that steers and meat and shit. Yeah. And they're biting into these fucking plant whoppers like, oh, I can't tell the difference. This tastes like grade A beef. And it's like, don't start, dude. Don't give me that shit. And then it gets worse. Burger King tries to say that these people, these next people in this next commercial weren't in on it. But it's bullshit. Let's say, Josh, that you are a multi-millionaire, like $100 million, and you're living in Los Angeles. You're living in Los Angeles, you have $100 million, and every single night you're eating out at like a 5-star high-end restaurant. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of dollars, but you can do it. You got the money. People in LA do it all the time. So let's say there is a high-end burger joint, like a 5-star burger joint restaurant in LA. Yeah. There is, I believe, like Gordon Ramsay Burger. Sure, Gordon Ramsay evidently has one of the tastiest fucking burgers literally on the planet. So these people are spending like $50 a burger, and they go into a fine dining restaurant and they order Gordon Ramsay burgers, thinking that they're getting $50 fucking burgers. But what does Burger King do? Burger King stops by, like they just went to the drive-thru, and then they replace the Gordon Ramsay burger with a fucking Whopper.
The plant one or a regular Whopper?
Just a regular Whopper at a fine dining restaurant, and then they take it to the table, and nobody notices. Everyone's just like, oh, this is a great fucking Gordon Ramsay burger. And then, of course, the Burger King guy comes out and says, hey, guess what? That's not a $50 Gordon Ramsay burger. That's a 99-cent Whopper. And everyone's like, oh, I couldn't fucking tell. Really, dude? Really? Now, this is the way the commercial really should have went, okay? A, there is nobody on earth, even you and I, with a less sophisticated palate that doesn't dine out at 5-star restaurants every night. Do you think you could tell the difference between a good, even homemade burger and a Whopper?
Absolutely.
So do you think these people can't tell the difference between a Gordon Ramsay, like $75 burger and a fucking Whopper? Of course they can, but they're all like, oh, we can't tell. But not only that, if these people really weren't in on it and they just swapped it out, how pissed would you be?
Yeah.
I'd be like, yo, wait a minute.
Oh.
I'm here with my family trying to celebrate the fucking 1-year anniversary of our fucking whatever. We just ordered $200 worth of burgers. My mouth is watering waiting for that Gordon fucking Ramsay burger.
Yeah.
And you're gonna swap out my burger for a fucking Whopper? And that's the other thing. Anytime you see a Whopper on TV, it looks great, doesn't it?
It looks beautiful.
It looks like they painted it.
Yeah.
Why don't they actually go to a fucking Burger King in Compton, go to the drive-thru and get Whoppers, and then present those to the people?
Last time I've been into a Whopper, man, it just went, it exploded. Crap.
But I'm telling you, dude, it's like, how can people not see through all the different bullshit in that commercial, from the contactless fucking delivery to the cowboys who are meat experts who are like, I can't tell this is meat, to the people that are like, oh, you swapped out my $100 burger with a 99-cent Whopper. Thank you. I couldn't tell. It's delicious.
It's great.
It's great. Thank you. How can these people, and people are like, oh my God, I guess I'll go to Burger King. Oh, don't get me started, man.
What else we got?
One of my least favorite times a year, Josh, isn't because of the time of year it is. It's because of the people that come into my area.
Oh, it is. Yesterday was the first day of fall.
So what do you think I'm getting to? Because Josh does not know the next topic here. Who comes into the Northeast every year, and what do they look at? What happens in the northeast United States or the whole northern hemisphere when the weather gets colder?
I don't know. Maybe leaves.
There you go. The fucking leaf peepers.
Are they out already?
They're not out.
And they're coming.
But remember, I'm going back to last year's podcast and picking out some of the highlight moments.
Yeah.
But I went on like a 45-minute tear. I mean, I was seeing red. On fucking leaf peepers. And I don't know, maybe one of these days I'll like re-pull that clip out and like make a compilation of the best of or whatever, or the worst of, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But anyways, these leaf peepers, man,
they're coming.
I don't know where they come from.
Everywhere.
But it boggles my mind because the roadways around here are already very trafficy.
Yeah, a lot of construction.
There's a lot of construction. There's a lot of traffic. All around this area, it's very heavily populated. So you already have a lot of people and a lot of traffic. And then you have literally hundreds of thousands of people that'll fly into the Northeast or they'll drive up here from wherever, just so they can clog up my highways going half the speed limit while they look out the window going, oh my God, they're the fucking yellow leaf and a red one. Look at that one. It's like half red and half orange.
They are beautiful.
Dude, they're dead fucking leaves hanging off a tree. I mean, what is the fascination? Seriously.
I'm sure if you live in Florida, you don't get to see that.
Dude, I'll send you a screensaver.
Oh, thanks.
To anyone that lives in Florida, stay home, please. You don't need to come up to the Northeast and buy a pumpkin and look at the leaves, dude. Look at the leaves online, If you've seen it once, you've seen it a billion times. The leaves turn pretty colors for a couple days, then they fall off the trees, then we gotta rake the shit up, right? It's a pain in the ass. And all these people that come into the Northeast to pick a pumpkin, what? They don't make pumpkins down south?
Not good ones.
Oh, bullshit, dude. Pumpkins grow fucking anywhere, okay? So why come up here? Because Yankee Candle is in Western Mass? You can't buy Yankee Candle in fucking California?
Yeah,
so what, the factories, out west here? Who gives a shit?
They got all different candles everywhere.
Well, whatever. But the majority of the people are coming up here and they're going half the speed limit, sitting in the left lane, completely oblivious to people behind them while they're looking out the window at the fucking leaves, dude. And it's just like, holy shit. Like, I don't know. If you want to look at the leaves, go. There's so many mountains around here you can drive up.
That's what they're here for.
And you can sit on the mountain and look down in the valleys at all the pretty leaves and take all the pictures you want. But don't sit in the left lane doing 30.
He is right, folks.
Oh, my God. Fucking leaf peepers.
At least get in the right lane.
Leave it alone. All right, I have a question for you, Josh.
What's that?
I'm going to see if you can get this answer. Which famous entertainer was notorious for wearing masks and gloves way before COVID hit?
Masks and gloves.
There was a very famous entertainer who is no longer with us. He's beloved by many people, including me, even though he had a lot of issues with children and the media.
Did he wear one glove or two?
I believe sometimes he wore one, sometimes he wore two, but he had a mask on pretty much everywhere he went and gloves.
That would be the mighty Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. I think he was a prophet. This guy was fucking rocking masks and gloves fucking 35 years before coronavirus hit, man. I really do. All right, Josh, before we go here, I got to give one last little rant here that pissed me off. There's a lot of things that piss me off. No, I can't say that.
About Michael Jackson?
No, not about Michael Jackson,
right.
but just about the 2020 America that we're living in.
Oh.
You and I talked last week about how we've both turned the news off because it's just heartbreaking.
I had to.
And it's overwhelming. And if you do it, you'll literally make yourself sick. So there's so many people tuning out of the news to get away from all of this election bullshit that's going on and all the consternation and the protest and the fighting. It's awful. So what do people do when they tune out the news? They might tune into, we got baseball on, we got football, there's hockey playoffs, basketball playoffs, fucking every sport right now, golf, everything's back.
Netflix.
But even when you turn on sports, you have to deal with politics in sports.
Yeah.
Not only that, the Emmys were on the other night. I don't know if you saw or heard about the Emmys.
I haven't watched the Emmys or
the
Oscars.
It was the lowest rated and lowest viewership in the history of the Emmys. And the majority of people who were watching it turned it off because it turned into not an award show, but it turned into Trump bashing.
Political ad.
And 99% of it was just talking about Black Lives Matters.
Yeah.
Do Black Lives Matter? Absolutely. Josh and I have black friends. We support our black brothers, okay?
Absolutely.
However, it's just so polarizing and it's so everywhere that when we turn on sports award shows, man, people are tired of it. And that's why people are tuning out. I don't even want to watch sports anymore. I used to watch the Grammys or the MTV Music Awards. That shit used to be fun. But now it's just all politics. So if anyone out there is a producer, stop virtue signaling and fucking get back to programming. You know? Play baseball. We don't need to... I don't know, dude.
Do they still have the MTV Awards?
You know what? I don't even know. I think they do. I really... Actually, you know what? I used to be so into the MTV Video Music Awards that I know it's always like the first week of September. Because I can remember being in high school, me and my high school girlfriend, like, you know, I think like the very first day of school, they like they were on that night. So I actually want to say that the first week of September, I did flip through the channels, and I think the MTV Video Awards were on. But they don't do it in an arena. It's like a 1,000-person Zoom call where everyone is...
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Stupid now.
I'm telling you. So not only are the award shows going through Zoom and all that shit, but it's like all politics, all Trump bashing. I love bashing Trump too, but everybody is just tired of it.
Yeah.
I'm fucking tired of it all. And
You could bash the other guy in the arena too.
it's not, dude, I'll bash anybody. I am a registered independent. I voted for Barack Obama twice. Not because I'm liberal, not because I'm Democratic, not because I'm Republican, because I thought he was the best guy for the job. I will always vote for the best person for the job. Not based on their race, not based on their gender, not based on whether they're left or right. Who's ever the best person for the job. That's how it's always been. My friends are the best people for the job. My family are the best people of the job. The people I hire whoever the best are. I don't give a helping hand to anybody just because they have a vagina or a penis or their skin's lighter or darker than mine. None of that shit matters. None of it does. Everybody in this country is free and created equal. We all have the same standards. It's about time we all started living up to it. Anyways, that wasn't my point. The point is, I have been watching the NFL because I'm a big sports fan, as you can see fucking behind me. I got all sorts of fucking shit behind me. Hats, jerseys, fucking Happy Halloween, Celtics, Bruins, Red Sox, Orioles, Dodgers, all that shit. So anyways, do you know this weekend the NFL fined 3 different head coaches
Really?
$100,000.
For what?
Just listen.
All right.
Now, I know coaches make $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, whatever. Each coach was fined $100,000. That comes out of their own pocket. And then the team was fined an additional $250,000. Why? Because all the coaches on the sidelines are supposed to have masks on. I believe the coaches off the top of my head were Pete Carroll,
Really?
who's the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, Kyle Shanahan, head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, and there was one other. They had masks on, but they kept pulling them down. And evidently, according to the NFL, everybody on the sideline, except for the players, have to have masks on. But they are allowed to pull them down when they go to talk into their headset to call a play. Then they got to pull it back up. But a lot of the coaches, like Pete Carroll evidently and Kyle Shanahan, they were pulling their mask down and then leaving it down for 10 minutes, and then they pull it back up again.
Yeah.
Because of that, all three of those guys were just hit with $100,000 fines.
Yeah. I don't know. If that's the rules, that's the rules.
I mean, look at my face, dude.
It's BS.
I mean, holy shit. I truly feel like maybe on next week's podcast, even though I'm not a doctor, my mother was a nurse. I watched House MD for 9 straight years.
I watched House.
I really, truly know how masks work. And I believe the majority of people out there, including Bill Burr, because I was just watching his podcast today, and him and Bert Kreischer were arguing about masks. Bill went to do a show in LA the other night on the coast. He wouldn't say where it was. And he got to the green room. Every comic in the green room had a mask on, but then he looked out in the audience. There was like 10,000 people there. Nobody had a mask on.
Oh.
And then the manager of the show walked into the green room to offer the comics food. She didn't have a mask on. And she was like this far from Burr's face. And Burr is really like COVID sensitive.
Yeah.
He just got tested. He flew into Connecticut today with his family because he's doing a show as we speak, like 30 miles south of here. Right now, Burr is 30 miles south of here doing a show in Western Connecticut. So he flew into town today or last night. But anyways, he went to do this spot the other night. And once he saw that the host didn't have a mask on and that nobody in the crowd did, he took off. And it's like, dude, I wish I had Burr's number to call him up and be like, listen, dude, if you are asymptomatic and the person that you're talking to is asymptomatic and you guys are at least 6 feet apart, you're not going to get it. I don't have any symptoms and neither does Josh. Correct? Even if you and I had COVID right now, you would have to sneeze or cough like right at me.
Yeah.
And if those particles happen to get in my face or in my eyes, I could catch it. You don't have a cough.
No,
you don't have a sneeze. I don't have a cough. I don't have a sneeze. I don't have a fever. So the only way for you and I to catch COVID is if we were to literally swap spit, or you were to like cough into your hand and then you touch the table, then I touch a table and go stick it in my mouth. That's what people don't understand. You got to look at as a mask as being underwear. When you fart, does the smell still come through the underwear?
Sometimes.
Yes, it does. However, if you shart,
The shart, huh?
it stays in the underwear, the fecal matter, but the smell comes out, correct? It's no different, people with a mask. If you cough or you sneeze, it goes into your mask as opposed to out into the atmosphere for other people to breathe in. But if those other people have masks on, they're not going to breathe it in. So my point is, as crazy about COVID as I am, Josh does not have a mask on, but he's 6 feet from me. So it's just, people don't get it. I see people that will ride down this middle of my street in the middle of the day. I live on a very non-busy street, right? And they'll have a mask on. And there's nobody around. That's overkill, and it's hard to breathe. So that's why I usually wear one around my neck. And if I'm in public or in a store, I'll pull it up. And then I'll pull it back down. But it's just the level to which people go nuts. Like, as long as Bill had a mask on, which he did, all the comics in the green room had a mask on. When he stepped out on stage, I'm sure there was going to be a bigger than a 6 feet distance between himself and the crowd. He still could have done his spot and gotten paid for it. Why he freaked out and went home? It's like, I want to call him and be like, Bill, you don't have to be this nuts, dude. You got to use your brain a little bit more, man. And it's like too many. So you got some people that are like, fuck masks. I love Trump. I ain't wearing one. And then you got other people that are still too afraid to leave their house. And it's like, you can't do that. You can't be one way or the other. It's like being extreme left or extreme right doesn't help anybody.
Right.
You just got to be smart about it. And that's why we were talking about this last week. I love the fact, well, one of the reasons I like living in this democratic state is because of the way we've handled COVID. We've handled COVID in Connecticut and in Massachusetts better than most states have. Mm-hmm. And it's not because we're crazy. It's just because we fucking wear masks. Yeah. And the numbers speak for themselves. But that's just it. You wear a mask when it calls for it. You can pull it down when it don't. And right now, it doesn't call for a mask between me and Josh. Yeah. But if I go over to him right now to adjust his mic or his camera or whatever, I'll put mine on. It's that fucking simple, people. There's no reason to fucking worry about it.
Yeah, I think people are just at their limit, man. They're snapping at everything.
Yeah, but yeah, I even put in my note here that I didn't read to give people a real common sense explanation of how masks work so a 3-year-old could understand. I think I did that. I think the underwear thing is perfect. I said that before in my podcast. I can't take credit for it. I got to give credit to where credit is due. I'm sure you don't want your name mentioned on the podcast, so I'll just say your first name. Keith. My buddy Keith actually came up with that analogy.
Good job, Keith.
About masks and underwear pretty much doing the same thing. If you have a wet fart, that mask is going to keep the fecal matter in, but the smell is going to come out. No different when you're wearing a mask, people, okay? You know what, Josh? I got one last thing to talk about, unless you got something to talk about, because we're already about an hour and 10 minutes into this, and considering it's the 1-year anniversary, it's okay that we're running a little bit longer.
Sure.
But the last, or did I want to talk about any of these?
I don't know. What you got going on.
I will. I'll talk about one last thing here.
Go for it.
Okay. Do you know what the Bier-jita scale is?
The what?
Bier-jita scale.
No.
The Bier-jita scale is a scale that scientists and meteorologists use to categorize how strong a tornado is.
All right.
So you've probably heard of an F1 tornado, an F5.
Yeah.
That F stands for Bier-jita.
Oh.
And then the scale goes from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
I thought I meant something different.
So an F5 tornado would be like a 2-mile wide, 300-mile-an-hour tornado.
Gotcha.
Or an F0 would be like a really small, weak one. It's called the Bier-jita scale. In high school, I came up with the Beer-jita scale.
Okay.
Beer-jita. Not the Bier-jita scale for tornadoes, but the Beer-jita scale for how many beers it would take you to sleep with a particular woman.
Okay.
And we still use it to this day.
Do it?
We'll be out at a bar, and I'll say to my buddy, hey, what's her Bier-jita scale? And he'd be like, 3 beers, you know?
Oh, all right. I get you.
See what I'm saying?
I got you.
It's how many beers you would require to get down and dirty with whatever particular man or woman we pick out, you know? Sometimes it's like, the woman could be so gorgeous, you could be like, I would give a keg. You know, it's like the reverse, right?
Okay.
I would give a keg of beer to be with her. Or sometimes it'd be like, yo, I would need a beer ball to sleep with that. You know what I'm saying? So it's the Bier-jita scale. Oh. It's how many drinks it would take you if I were to point out a girl. So you and me are at a bar right now, and I say, hey, Josh, you see that blonde little number over there? And you're like, yeah. You'd be like, it might take me 6 or 7. All right. Evidently, my Bier-jita scale isn't that funny. Way to go, Josh.
Sorry.
You're making me feel like I'm on stage again. Bombing. All right. You got anything?
I got nothing. Just want to congratulate you on your 1 year again.
Thank you.
It is a good achievement.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so too. I'm pretty proud of myself. When you listen to the first podcast,
yeah, you definitely come a long way.
It's long, the audio quality's horrible, and there was no video.
Yeah.
And you fast forward to a year from now, the audio quality's much better when I don't screw it up like last week. And I apologize for this. I can't believe more people didn't write in, but you're right. Like episode 50, the first 6.5 minutes, the audio is perfect. And then I forgot to do something in my editor which did not disconnect the camera's audios, because the audio is only supposed to be going through our microphones, not the camera's audio. So I disconnected it for the first 6 minutes and 30 seconds, and then you can hear a little bit of echo because it's picking up the camera audio too. But you're right. Once it does switch over, it's noticeable.
Yeah.
But when you keep listening to it, you can't even tell anymore.
Yeah.
It's completely listenable. That won't happen again. But just the fact that I added video, and now I've added a co-host and a second camera, we're making progress here, and our streaming numbers and our subscriptions and everything are going through the roof. So honest to God, I can't thank you people enough. I wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for people watching and listening. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Thank you.
And we will see you guys next week for episode 52, where we lose the party hats because it's no longer my birthday. We'll have to wait until next.
You need some hair, man.
We'll have to wait till next September 26th. Today's September, we're recording this September 23rd. The 26th is the actual 1 year anniversary. But yeah, that's been about it. I hope you guys have had a great time listening to our horse shit, and take care of yourself. Remember to have your pet spayed or neutered, and we will talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.